Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping right inside the glowing blue and yellow blueprint of the world's most famous furniture retailer. We are going to investigate the hidden architectural designs that are literally engineering your shopping behavior. I mean, you know the feeling, right? You go in for some cheap tea lights, and you emerge 3 hours later with a cart full of houseplants, a brand new rug, and somehow a coffee table. Well, it's not an accident. It is an absolute masterpiece of strategic design.
So, let's dive into this question that has definitely crossed all of our minds at some point. Why can't you just walk straight out? Anyone who has visited the store knows that sudden, slightly disorienting feeling of losing their sense of direction. But today, we're revealing the meticulous strategic psychology that makes it intentionally difficult to leave. The maze isn't actually there to annoy you. It's there to guide you.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the long natural way. This concept is really the foundation of the entire in-store experience. Let's compare a standard retail grid, like you'd see in a typical supermarket, which lets you bypass aisles entirely if you just want to run in for milk, to a forced path layout. The Swedish giant internally refers to its zigzagging, labyrinth-like floor plan as the long natural way. It completely obliges you to walk past the entire product range before you can even reach the checkout. This design is meant to remove the fatigue of choice and instead gently guide you through a carefully curated narrative of a life you might want to lead.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Flat Pack Foundation.
Before this psychological maze could be effectively rolled out on a massive global scale, the company needed a huge logistical breakthrough. Back in 1956, a designer named Gillis Lundgren couldn't fit a newly designed table into his car. So what did he do? He simply took the legs off. In that exact moment, he realized that shipping empty space, or as he called it, transporting air, was wasting massive amounts of money and was the absolute greatest enemy of affordability.
That single epiphany birthed the flat pack revolution. By maximizing shipping efficiency and shifting the final assembly directly over to you, the consumer, they slashed costs dramatically. They basically ensured that customers could actually transport whatever they found deep inside that giant store, which made high-end aesthetics globally accessible.
Next up is Section 3, Mastering the Gruen Effect. With the logistics of transport fully solved, the brand could focus entirely on mastering the architectural psychology of the store space itself. Have you ever heard of the Gruen Effect? Named after mall architect Victor Gruen, is defined by the strategic architectural tactics used to shape consumer buying behavior and the overall brand experience. This effect relies on intentional, slightly disorienting design tactics to increase impulse buys, keep you exploring the space for much longer periods, and gently encourage you to discover the whole product range. And this retailer has truly perfected it.
That brings us to Section 4, the 4 brand dimensions.
To really understand this, a 2023 academic study treated this famous maze as a specific brand stimulus. Using something called the Break's 4-factor model, researchers mapped out exactly how navigating this physical blueprint triggers 4 distinct dimensions of our experience. The stimulus, meaning the maze, branches out to impact us on sensory, affective, behavioral, and intellectual levels. But to what degree? Well, that's exactly what the researchers wanted to quantify.
Let's look at the numbers in Section 5, Engineering Consumer Behavior.
To uncover the hard data behind the design, researchers surveyed 68 people across various nationalities about their real-time in-store reactions. The first major finding? An overwhelming 85.3% of respondents were consciously aware of the maze-like layout. So, this proves the layout isn't some invisible subliminal trick. It is a highly visible, conscious, and totally intentional architectural experience that shoppers recognize the second they step through the sliding doors. But here is where it gets kind of surprising. Despite being literally forced down a single path without any easy shortcuts, 57.4% of people reported they actually liked the maze. They aren't bothered at all by the lack of direct routes. It seems, deep down, we actually enjoy being guided. When the survey data was fully quantified against that 4-factor model we mentioned, the blueprint had the absolute highest impact on the behavioral dimension, scoring a massive 78.5. This means the maze overwhelmingly dictates your physical shopping actions. It controls where you walk, where you stop, and how you physically move through the space.
In fact, a matching 57.4% of people strongly agree that the maze layout forces them to stay inside the store significantly longer than they would in a store with traditional parallel aisles. You are literally physically kept inside the brand's ecosystem.
The secondary spike occurred in the sensory dimension, scoring a really solid 66.
Because the layout guides you through these fully furnished room displays, it functions as a real-life walking catalog. It highly encourages touching the fabrics, smelling the candles, and directly interacting with the products in a way that a normal retail grid simply doesn't support. When we step back and look at all 4 dimensions together, the data is super clear. The maze overwhelmingly dictates physical and sensory behavior, with scores of 78.5 and 66. This far outweighs the intellectual or emotional responses, which lag way behind at 22 and 17. The whole design targets your feet and your hands first and foremost.
Let's explore why that works in Section 6, the creative brain escape.
So, what about the brain? Well, there's a fascinating psychological loophole to this forced physical path that actually primes you to pull out your wallet. Academic research highlights that the sheer act of navigating a labyrinth automatically occupies the logical, analytical part of your brain. And because your logical brain is busy just figuring out the path, it completely frees up your creative faculties. This allows your imagination to flourish and envision totally new possibilities for your own home as you walk past those perfectly staged living rooms.
And this creative spatial freedom, it directly translates to revenue. A massive, combined 75% of survey respondents agreed that walking the entire forced path makes them buy more than they initially intended to. The layout essentially distracts your logic, sparks your imagination, and leads you straight to the checkout line.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 7, the ultimate retail blueprint.
When we view this entire architectural investigation, we see the interconnected genius of the layout truly shine through. The store basically operates as a highly tuned, sequential machine. Step 1, forced navigation gets you moving. Step 2, that path leads directly to sensory interaction with the products. Step 3, this naturally extends your dwell time inside the store, which leads perfectly to Step 4, ultimately culminating in a cart absolutely full of impulse purchases.
So, this impartial academic data proves that the maze isn't just a retail trap. It is a masterful, highly intentional intersection of flat pack logistics, architectural flow, and behavioral psychology, all working in perfect harmony to maximize both the user experience and corporate revenue.
Which leaves us with a final thought for the next time you drop an extra set of mugs or maybe a decorative pillow into your big yellow bag. Did you really make that creative choice, or did the blueprint make it for you? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, keep questioning the world around you.